Hey beauties, welcome back to my channel. We are always talking about luxury beauty and what's worth the splurge, but today I am sharing my 10 favorite affordable drugstore products, things that I genuinely use and love just as much as my luxury favorites. Now, I am far from a drugstore beauty expert. That's just not where my experience is, and I'm sure I'm missing out on so many hidden gems. So if you have any favorite drugstore products, anything that you've used for years, you feel like it is just as good as the luxury alternative, definitely drop your recommendations in the comments. I have two favorite drugstore foundations here to talk about. The first is the L'Oreal Paris True Match Super Blendable Foundation. This is a classic, and then this is what I'm wearing on my skin today. It's the CoverGirl Simply Ageless Skin Perfector Essence with 0.5% bakuchiol, the Hydro Fresh tint. This is basically a Chanel Le Beige Water Fresh Complexion Touch dupe, which I really love the Chanel. I just talked about it. I said it is well worth the money, even at $70 per bottle. I think these two are very different, even though they look sort of similar in the tube. They perform a bit differently on the face. I think this one looks a little bit more like foundation. It's a bit more perfecting. I can tell that I'm wearing makeup when I have this on my skin. However, it still has that very luminous, glassy, serum-y, kind of watery, very fresh-faced, plumping finish. While I wouldn't consider it a true dupe, I think it's an excellent alternative, especially for the price. I mean, this is going to be a fraction of the cost. And I wear shade 40 medium in this foundation. In fact, the first time I tried this, I actually went with shade 30 and it was way too light. And I thought I hated it because it was just looked sort of pasty and weird on the skin. As soon as I got my shade right, it completely changed my opinion of this foundation. And I really think this is so beautiful. I find myself saving the Chanel Le Beige Water Fresh Complexion Touch because it is so expensive. Comes in a small bottle and I don't want to have to restock it that often. Whereas this is something that I would feel comfortable using every single day. It gives you glow and luminosity without leaving you too greasy. It's not a replacement for my Chanel, but it is a great addition too. And then the L'Oreal True Match Foundation. This is a long time holy grail. I remember being influenced to purchase this foundation years ago by all of the big beauty gurus at the time. It's probably had plenty of transformations, different bottles, different formulas, but it's just as incredible as ever. This is truly my drugstore break glass in case of emergency foundation. In fact, when I purchased this bottle, it was a couple years ago, Mardi Gras. We were visiting New Orleans and I had packed my makeup bag perfectly, except the one thing I forgot was foundation, and I was riding in a parade. So I had to run to the drugstore and I didn't even question it. I knew exactly what foundation I was going to purchase when I got there. I purchased shade N3 Neutral Light Medium. It's a little bit too light. If it was a perfect match, I would probably keep this in the top drawer and use this as my every single day foundation because it's so thin and lightweight. It's very natural and silky on the skin. It looks beautiful. To be completely transparent, I have not tested that many drugstore foundation formulas, and not because I'm some luxury beauty snob, but just because I've worked in beauty for, I think, close to 10 years now. I worked retail, I did Sephora Squad, I've been gifted products, you get gratis. So I just have such a huge collection of luxury foundations. It wouldn't make sense for me to go to the drugstore and spend a bunch of money on products that I don't need. So when I say I love the L'Oreal True Match and this CoverGirl Essence formula, it's not that I think they're so great compared to other drugstore brands. I don't know if that's more helpful or less helpful, but I think they are just as amazing as my elevated, very expensive luxury foundations. We have to quickly rewind back to primer. I almost forgot I applied my Lumi Glotion today after SPF. Who does not love the L'Oreal True Match Lumi Glotion? I think if you don't love this product, it's probably just because you haven't tried it yet. It's incredible. I believe I have every shade available because it's so versatile. You can use it as a primer. You can mix it into your foundation. Use it to sheer out a full coverage foundation if you like a little more glow. You can use it as a bronzer, a highlighter, a body glow product, which is probably the way I use it the most, if I'm being honest. I think the shade that I use today on my face is 903 Medium Glow, but I often use the Deep Glow on my chest, my arms, neck, chest décolleté. And anytime I'm getting ready to go out to dinner or to an event, if my arms, legs, neck, chest are exposed, I'm going to be applying a product like this. It applies like a sheer creamy gel. It gives you a boost of color, a boost of luminosity. It's not sticky, it's not oily or greasy. It doesn't transfer all over the place. Now, it's not transfer proof or really even transfer resistant. So you really want to apply this on exposed skin so it's not rubbing up against fabrics. But it makes your skin look effortlessly flawless, and it's beautiful as a primer, hydrating primer beneath foundation as well. This is a great Charlotte Tilbury Supermodel body dupe. That's one of my favorite body care products, but I think now they only sell it in the very small rollerball and it's very pricey. This is such a better deal, and it comes in this really convenient squeezy tube. For the price, you can't beat it. There's a million ways to use it. I always hear so many of my favorite beauty bloggers, fashion bloggers talk about the Lumi Glotion. This has got to be one of the most popular drugstore products ever at this point. My most recent drugstore beauty purchase is this Maybelline Fit Me Loose Finishing Powder. I went with shade 05 Fair Claire. It still has the little CVS sticker on here. If you watched my New York City vlog, you know that I was using a pressed Gucci powder. I liked it, but I felt like it was more of a finishing powder and I needed a loose powder to properly set my makeup. Didn't want to go to Sephora and spend a lot of money, so I went to the drugstore and I bought this instead. And I really like it. It definitely served its purpose while I was on the trip, but since I've been home, I've still been using it. I mean, I use my Chanel loose powder basically every single day, but a lot of times if I'm filming upstairs or out and about, I pop into this room quickly and I touch up my makeup and I'll dust this on my face, and I think it does a really good job. I used this to set my makeup again today. Now, this is where I need your input. If you have any favorite loose powders from the drugstore, definitely let me know. As much as I like this powder, and I definitely do, I don't think it's as good or really even comparable to the Huda Beauty or the Chanel loose powder. And so I'm curious if there's a different drugstore loose powder that I just don't know about that's even more amazing than this one. Any recommendations are welcome. I don't have any complaints or anything bad to say about it. It's just not as light and airbrushed. It's not quite as finely milled as the Chanel or Huda Beauty. Like, I feel like I can truly see this powder on my skin. And I actually feel like this has a very natural finish. For the price, for the convenience, I still think it does an excellent job, and this saved me on my most recent trip. So not a bad thing to say about it. Still would recommend the Maybelline powder. For blush, I really like the L'Oreal Lumi Liquid Blush. It's a lot of L'Oreal, and that shouldn't be that surprising because as an umbrella company, L'Oreal owns YSL Beauty, Armani Beauty, Valentino Beauty. So many of my favorite luxury brands are owned by L'Oreal, so it makes sense that they would also have really incredible products. I want to say about half of this list is L'Oreal. Not sponsored at all, by the way. I actually mixed these two on my cheeks today. I think they look really nice together. This is 605 Dewy Bright Pink. Beautiful on its own, but if you also like a little luminosity, this reminds me so much of a NARS Orgasm dupe. This is 630 Glowy True Rose. It's slightly peachy rose with a gold sheen to it. It's so gorgeous on the skin. Very pigmented, but blends out really nicely and does have a bit of a hydrating, dewy finish. Pigment-wise, it's somewhere in the middle, a very user-friendly blush. It's not quite as pigmented as a Rare Beauty blush, but I think it has a bit more payoff than like the YSL liquid blushes. This is definitely a better formula, in my opinion, than the YSL liquid blush. It's actually probably the most comparable to maybe the Armani liquid blushes, which I really love. They have a different shade range. They're never an outright copy of one another, just similar products, similar formulas, but very beautiful and certainly more cost-friendly. I was not planning on mentioning these. They were not on my list of favorites, but right before I sat down to film, I received a package with these Kiko Milano So Chic Trio blushes. What stands out to me most about these, because I did open up the package and read through the information card, is that it's not just a liquid blush. My first thought was, oh gosh, more blush. No, it's not just a liquid blush. It's actually a liquid eyeshadow, cheek, and lip, all in one. So that's why it's called the trio. And I think that's sort of interesting. So I'm going to go ahead and swatch these for you. They're available at Ulta. I want to say they're $18, but currently on sale for $14. So a great affordable option if you're looking for a very minimal, versatile, one and done type of product. This is 01, 02, 03, and 04. My blush fatigue is so real, but because the shades are so nice and I like the idea of an eye, lip, and cheek all in one, I am sort of curious and excited to play around with these. One of the easiest places to save money in your beauty routine these days is liquid eyeliner. There are so many great pens on the market. These are basically the same. I don't remember the price, so I couldn't tell you the difference. I think I got these from Amazon. This is the NYX Professional Makeup Epic Ink Liner in dark chocolate. And then this one is the Wet n Wild Breakup Proof Waterproof Liquid Eyeliner in brown. 1116146 brown. They're different shades of brown, but the actual component, the pen itself, looks identical. I think one of these says made in China, the other one says made in Korea. So I don't know if they are in fact the same, but they might as well be. I'm wearing the Wet n Wild today because I like a brown that is truly brown. I don't want my brown to look black, and so many of the brown liquid eyeliners that are available look basically black on the eye. I mean, it's maybe a little bit more subtle. I don't want it to be red and I don't want it to be too light, but I definitely want brown. I want something that looks so much softer, noticeably softer on the eye, which is why I really like this Wet n Wild. But even this NYX version does a great job. The pen itself is super easy. I might even like this pen better than some of the more expensive luxury alternatives. Like I recently bought the new Dior liquid eyeliner. I really like it, but this is maybe a little bit softer, a little bit easier to use. It's been years since I used the Chanel liquid eyeliner pen because the last time I bought it, it bled all over the place and it was terrible, one of the worst products that I've ever used. I just finished either a Huda Beauty or maybe a Benefit liquid eyeliner. I go through these very quickly because I do a basic eyeliner wing every single day. They do such a great job. They last a long time. They're dark. They're going to give you plenty of definition, but I think the formula is actually a little bit easier to get a nice crisp wing. They're not just as good as luxury. In a lot of cases, they're better than the luxury version. Another easy place to save money in your beauty routine is mascara. This is the L'Oreal Panorama Voluminous Mascara. This is the best drugstore mascara on the market, in my opinion. If you have any recommendations, any suggestions, anything that you think is better than this, please let me know, because in my opinion, this is the best one that exists. This wand was made for me. It's perfectly tapered. The bristles are nice and short. This is really ideal because you can get the inner lashes, the lower lashes. You can get really close to the base of the lashes without poking yourself in the eye. So it's fast, it's easy. The formula is really good. Now, similar to the powder, as much as I love this product, I don't think it's the best in my collection. There are other mascaras, other luxury mascaras that I would say, yeah, they are better than this. My current two favorite formulas that I've been rotating between are the new Vertigo Lift mascara from Armani Beauty, and then the new Lancome mascara is amazing, very thin wand. So that way you can get every single lash and it really combs through and separates every single lash. So it gives you that very fanned out, very voluminous, but not clumpy look. I think it's called the Lash Idol Extender or something like that. And last we have lips. This is my combination that I'm wearing today. This isn't technically a drugstore product, but it is more affordable, and I told you I was not going to shut up about this lipstick. This is from Sephora Collection, so I would not even pay full price. There's something about Sephora Collection I will always wait for the savings event because even though it's a great deal, you get 30% off. I mean, why not take advantage of the savings? It's the Sheer Shine Brilliance Lipstick. This is shade 18. I don't remember the name. It's something about light. It is the perfect sheer shine, little bit of gold sheen to it lipstick. This is exactly what I always look for in luxury brands. I think I have a handful of Chanel lipsticks now that are similar to this. I would say this is comparable to the Rouge Coco Shine. The Rouge Coco Flash lipstick from Chanel, 16 bucks. It is one of the most flattering lipsticks in my entire collection. It looks so effortlessly beautiful on the lips because it has that perfect amount of sheen that just reflects light in this really outrageous way. It's so pretty. So I love this lipstick. $16 full price. Wait for the savings event. And then these L'Oreal lip oils, they knew what they were doing when they came out with these. I would say this is a direct dupe to the YSL lip oils. They are gorgeous, beautiful shades. It's the Plump Ambition Hyaluron Lip Oil, and I actually have all of them. They sent me the entire collection for me to create content and videos for them to use across their channels, but I absolutely love the lighter shades in particular. So this is Worth It 601. This is probably the best seller. It's so beautiful. And then this is the one that I'm wearing today. It's 650 Nude Macaron, a really beautiful nudie peach. I also really like these two, this pinky milky color 201 Milky New. This is really beautiful. And then the crystal clear is a gorgeous, gorgeous lip oil. They're shiny. They feel really nourishing and hydrating on the lips, slightly plumping, but they're not sticky. They're not tacky. The lighter shades are my favorite because if you're not careful, some of the deeper shades, and I think this is true for all lip oils, if you don't have anything underneath, they can sometimes kind of fill in the little cracks on the lips. They don't look perfectly smooth. So these are the best shades. I think they're always really flattering. And that completes my list of favorite drugstore and affordable products. Everything that we talked about today, I used to create this look. And I love the way my makeup turned out. It just goes to show you that you don't have to splurge or spend a fortune to have high quality, beautiful makeup. And that completes today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Leave me your comments, questions down below. Now you know I am looking for your recommendations, so drop them in the comments. No gatekeeping allowed. I want to try all of your favorites from the drugstore. As always, I will be linking everything mentioned. Everything on my face will be tagged directly to the video and listed down below in the description box for your convenience. And for more videos like this, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell.